Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome, Off-Road Mechanic Simulator. It's a good game. If you haven't watched my first look gameplay and analysis review, then you should definitely go and check that out. Somebody asked me whether or not you could play with a controller, and technically the answer is no, as in it doesn't officially support it. But if you're playing on Steam, which I think probably the majority of you are, then the answer is kind of yes. Now, the problem is, of course, it's kind of almost really using... It's basically tricking the game into thinking that your Xbox controller is a keyboard and mouse. So when you go forward, it's really sending a W key input. So it does work. You come over here, you'd hit the right... Well, let's do this first, okay? So what button do you press for this? B. But there's no way of knowing that until you figure it out. So there's going to be a lot of figuring out stuff on your own. To go back, which is another key thing, to exit something, let's say you right top trigger into there. How do you now get out of that? You have to press start button to come out of that. So it does work. It does work pretty well. We'll take the car out in a second and see how that works. If you go in there, then you know how you swap between the different elements of the car. That's all done on the D-pad. Now, ideally, in a perfect world, that would be up, down, left, right. But as I say, it is trying to trick the game into thinking you're using an Xbox controller when, into using a keyboard and mouse, whereas you're actually using an Xbox controller. So, do you see how now I've got, this is now a mouse, so it's tricky. It looks like it can be done. You don't have to do anything if you've got Steam installed and you've got Xbox controllers set up, turned on. Then it should just default to the same settings I'm using, whatever they are. And it seems to work pretty well, actually. I'm not complaining about it. Theoretically, the driving and the steering and stuff should be equally as good, but we'll see that in a second. But yeah, just because somebody asked me, I thought I'd give it a quick test and upload it so that you can all see and answer that question. Whether or not you can hook up a wheel, probably not. I mean, you could. There is nothing stopping you from binding your wheel to be, you know, WASD. But yeah, it's going to be tricky for sure. Right, so B, instead of starting the engine, gets you out of the truck. But A, no. Y, X, R3, no. So you change the diff with the D-pad. You do the SOS stuff, swapping at the top. You increase the throttle with R1 and R2. The do list is tab. Excuse me, hiccups. I don't know how to start the engine. Yeah, okay, so whoever set up the keybinds has not set it up so that you can drive the car, but if you press left control and press B on your keyboard, I'm pretty sure everything else will work, right? So rather than accelerating with I think you could set up a better keybind option for the game than what is currently implemented. I would put right trigger as W, left trigger as S for braking. But yeah, I mean, Officially, no, it isn't supported, but thanks to, and I am going to say something positive about Steam here after recent weeks, recent events, they have implemented basically a keybind system that allows you to use almost any controller, even on games that don't officially support controllers. So that's what I'm doing right here, right now. And I'm doing all this on the controller. So yeah, I mean, yes, it works. And arguably, you know, feels better playing on the Xbox controller than it does on the keyboard and mouse. Arguably, depending on who you are and what your preferences are, of course. My preference would be a proper wheel support. Get that camera down so we see where I'm going. Nearly went off the edge. So yeah, okay, right, officially I proved it, it works. You do have to adjust your throttle with R1 and L1, which is a bit weird. But other than that, and the ability to use the handbrake and the engine, it does kind of work. But I think you're going to have to set up your own keybinds to make it really work as well as you want it to. Yeah, officially it doesn't work, but technically it does. Hope that helps. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Take care. Goodbye for now.